I'm so excited about today's Holistic Chamber of Commerce member, featured guests, specialists, experts, Wunderkind. Okay, so we are gonna be talking about visibility, staying visible in a world of change. And publicity is a key component of getting your name out there, being a top of mind, getting people to call you and connect with you. So good for business. All right, and let's tell you a little bit about Jill. Over the past 25 years, Jill has worked with ABC, NBC, CBS, and other national and international media as a publicity expert. By the way, this is so cool. Like, Jill's a member, guys. Like, we've got some rocking cool members. Jill has been featured in the New York Times, Women's Day, Fortune Small Business, Entrepreneur, Forbes, and Inc. magazines. Jill, you and I really need to keep talking about this topic. Jill is also the author of 4 best-selling books, including Get Noticed, Get Referrals, Networking Magic, Guerrilla Publicity, Guerrilla Possibility, I guess they're related, and her newest book, The Profit of Kindness. Beautiful. All right, so let's get this started with, and yes, Jill, you can add to your bio, but I'm also gonna just kick it off with the first question, because you are a PR veteran, and many of us, myself included, could be considered a PR novice. So what is PR? What is public relations? Yeah.
Well, first of all, I am just delighted to be here with you. I've had the blessing of knowing Camille for many years, and what she does for all of you tirelessly behind the scenes, I just want you to know. So just kudos to you, Camille, for all that you do for all of us, and I really want to thank you. Because, my dear, you're doing public relations all the time, right? In other words, public relations happens from the minute you all walk into this Zoom room, right? When you turn your cameras on, when you have your names in your box, right? We're all doing public relations, networking at our wonderful meetings. PR happens consistently and persistently, and I want all of you to, shall we say, be ready consistently and persistently to keep your name out there and let people know your magnificence, right? Because that's what it's all about, is getting your magnificence out in the world, putting your message out into the world. And I know we'll be talking more about that today as we go on. So excited to be here.
Well, we are really, really glad to have you. I think especially in a time of change, it's easy to kind of want to step back, hunker down, and just think in terms of, how do I keep things stable and steady, which is good. You need to have a strong foundation. But if we're here to help others, heal the world in whatever our specialty area is, it's also about getting the message out, sharing ourselves and what we do, our products and services, with the people in the world around us. So I know you feel strongly about the message. What do you mean by that, and how do you create it?
Oh, I love the message. So type in the chat, what are the first 2 letters of message? Type it in the chat. I want to see. What's the first 2 letters of message? Yes, Barbara, thank you. Absolutely. Yes, to Camille, absolutely. It's me. In the word message, thank you, is me. Now type in the chat, What's the last 4 letters of
Oh,
message? Last 4 letters of
brilliant.
message. What is it? Uh-huh. Sage. Thank you, Barbara. Yes, Camille. Yes. In the word message, isn't that interesting? Is me sage. Now, I don't know about you, but as far as I know, I'm a member of the Holistic Chamber. I know because I work with many of people in your industry and all kinds of alternative healing modes. Hey, guess what? You're all sages. I know that. I'm very aware of that because you have a beautiful way and understanding of healing, an alternative method oftentimes. And here's the reality. You're all sages in whatever, whether it's insurance, whether it's particular healing mode. You have a particular wisdom. In the word message is me sage. I love that. Is that wild? Okay, now, next test question is, not too much of a test, but what's the first 4 letters of message? First 4 letters of message. What is it? Uh-huh, Barbara, yes. Yes, thank you, Camille. Yes, thank you, Jan. In the word message is mess. That's what I want you to avoid, right? Because being a messenger, which I also think that all of you are, right? Being a messenger is important to spread your message and know what that is. And we'll go into the particular formula if you'd like, Camille, right after this. But I think that you've got to really get that you are a messenger, right? Can you just point yourself and repeat that? Just point yourself. In your thymus is good, wherever you need to. I am a messenger. Oh, yes. Yes. I love watching you all do that. That's beautiful. Thank you. I am a messenger. And, you know, guess what? I'm a messenger of messengers. And what I've noticed in 25 years of working with messengers is it's always about getting your message right. And so the way to get your message right is to identify what is the problem, or as I like to say, the problem out there is, right? And fill that blank in, fill it in so that people understand what you do. And in fact, to be honest, from a media perspective, can I tell you, it's not actually about what you do. It's about what you do and how it helps and gives others great, you know, whatever you're doing, whatever you're helping on, whether it's more wellness, whether it's, I love Dennis, the healthcare solutions. I see that Grace does wellness for executives, organizations. And of course, we all know that in these moments, we all need more wellness, right? We all need more wholeness. We all need less anxiety, more positive mindsets, whatever it is. And these are the problems today, right? I have a naturopath who, one of the messages we're putting out is, you know, how do you be healthy in COVID times? How do you keep your immune system boosted in COVID times? My mindset expert is, how do you have a happy, healthier mindset every day and stay out of anxiety, right? And these are all important issues of the day. So one of the things I want you to realize is you stay away from what I call the I, us, or we language and move into you language. So you always want to be helping people with you language. So just that's something to really keep in mind for all of you as you're out there in the wonderful world, putting out your message. Use you words. That'll really help you.
So not what I do, but how I can help you.
Yeah, and even beyond that. Now, remember, I'm talking about media messages. I just want to specify that it is beyond, here's what I do and even what you do. So think of what I'm telling you from a media perspective, because what I know is if you are in your papers, whether they be large or small, whether when you're in podcasts, when you're being featured on blogs, when you're in your local media, because some of you might see people, you know, shall we say, social distancing wise, others might do Zoom sessions, so it doesn't really matter where your people are. So keep that in mind as you're thinking about also what kind of media you want to reach, right? And remember that my message for the media will also be useful for your networking time. It'll be helpful when you come to your holistic chamber meetings. It'll be helpful when you post online. It'll be helpful when you introduce yourself in Zoom. Use this, I promise you, really much better results because it takes the onus off of everything that you do. So for instance, a chiropractor I work with, he talks about, do you have problems with Zoom fatigue and now sitting for hours on end, staring at the computer?
What?
And we're
Zoom fatigue? What do you mean
finding
by
that,
that?
yeah, Zoom fatigue. I think it's something that, right? This is a new problem that people have. So that's an example. I know somebody was asking for an example, or my naturopath physician, she was saying that, let me think what statistic we used. Bear with me just a minute. I think it was something like, 85% of people are reporting on stress and anxiety symptoms.
Yeah.
Or my relationship expert, we had her on WGN in Chicago, being the quarantine Cupid, how to have better relationships and communicate better. And so that was the story that actually got her into WGN. So I particularly find with I'll call them, people more in the categories of what we have in the holistic chamber, right? Alternative healers, that kind of issue is more about right now, how do we feel better? They're doing more and more studies about people in this time are having depression and anxiety. Talk to those topics right now. Be willing to switch your topics so that you're not too in one box, and especially being healers and consultants. And Dennis, even with insurance, there's a big question about insurance now. How do we, for instance, make sure that we're properly covered? That's an interesting story, right? How do we make sure that we wake up every day in a good mindset? How do we avoid anxiety? What should be general good self-care practices, right? There's a lot of good discussion on that. These are good topics for today, meaning today's times. And here's what I want to say to you, particularly about media and publicity, is that you are looking ahead 3, 6, and 9 months ahead. So I always want you to be planting your publicity garden now, and knowing that even looking ahead, the good news is you're planting seeds for the blooming of your practice. And what I know about the power of publicity is it is driving your profits, your practice, your prospects continuously and ongoingly. That's powerful. And it's and here's what else. The publicity strategy is free. That's a beautiful thing, right? And so getting your name out there is a really good way, consistently and persistently, to put your name out in the public. That's a beautiful thing.
So, okay, so you mentioned a few sentences ago that you have a formula, and I've seen it referred to as your secret sauce formula. Are you going to share that with us?
Absolutely. Well, that's part of what I was just sharing. So, and I love secret sauces, right? Because you all have them, right? That particular you that's powerful, that's your magical gift, right? So my magical gift is that I have the gift of being able to hear people's messages, go underneath them, and retranslate them. So that's why sometimes you'll say something particularly, and I'm like, okay, so good, let's go one level deeper, right? Just like you would probably with your customers, clients, and patients, however you deal with people. So here's the secret sauce formula. So you fill in this blank, like I was just saying. The problem today is use statistics. Use statistics. Make it so that other people can get what you're referring to. And then the next part of that is fill in the blank with real solutions. Real solutions. So what do I mean by that? So let me demonstrate. This is my example, and here's the deal. You know, take it and modify it for you, and make sure that your message is like 12 to 15 seconds. This should not be long. And it's really powerful as an introduction. It's powerful on social media. I had a gentleman in my virtual publicity course, and he, as an alternative healer, he changed his message to reflect this problem solution piece that we're talking about right now on Facebook. And do you know he got 250 likes that day? Okay, so it's profound. And so here comes mine. You ready? All right. The problem today is 4 out of 5 businesses will go out of business because you have no clue how to create publicity without spending a fortune. I want to give you 3 guerrilla publicity tips today for how to get your message in the media. The first way to get noticed is to create your ooh, ah factor. The second way is to create the I've heard of you somewhere syndrome. And the third way is focus on networking magic and show up in your communities at least twice a month for name and face recognition, which, good news for all of you HCC members, you're doing that right now, right? You're showing up for name and face recognition. Congratulations. You're doing one of the 3. Now, I'm going to tell you something, my friends, that I did in that message. I actually used my book titles. These are my books right behind here. She mentioned I have 4 books. I used the book Guerrilla Publicity, right? I said, I'm going to give you 3 guerrilla publicity tips today. Now, I'll tell you something. You don't have to have a book to do this. You could have a particular consulting package, coaching program, healing package. You have a particular method. Use one word even, because what I'm looking to do is drive that into people's consciousness, right? And to make it really simple so that people keep hearing what it is you're promoting. Because remember, you know, and I've worked with healers, I know sometimes promotion and publicity is not the top of your skill level. That's why you have people like me in the holistic chamber, right? Because for me, it's a blessing that I have. You have your blessings, right? Do your blessings and have what I know is that when you know your message and it's filled in, then what happens is you're able to quickly, simply, and easily say who you are and what you do. And the, shall we say, worry about that, thought about that goes away, not taking up space in your consciousness. And then the power of your message amplifies because your confidence is accelerated. That's what I've noticed about having like a really good message and getting things much more simplified and easy. And that's really been effective for people to have that and have it well done.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, because
Does that make sense?
I love your tip about the use your program names or use your book titles. The example that really came to mind for me with that is one of the most popular kind of stores we stop by to pick up stuff is Target. Well, Target is such a common word, right? We talk about business targets, we talk about personal targets. So then you've got a business that's named after a common word. So every time we use it, it almost reinforces that store, right? And when you look at your program names and your book titles, there are ways to take those and put them into your 30-second elevator pitch. So I love that. I love that. Now, I heard you mention.
Yeah, and Camille,
go ahead.
Can I just ask, because it sounds, who has books here on, let me just see your hands raised if you have books. Keep your hands up for a moment if you actually have a book, just so I can see. Okay. Who would actually want, oh, good, thank you. Who would actually want to have a book? Let me see your hands raised if you want to actually have a book. And let me just say, more hands should be raised, because one thing I know is the power of books to drive your business, to create your credibility. So one thing, I don't know if you caught my introduction, but I have helped people get book deals for over 18 years with major publishers and agents. And also, frankly, I know how to get books hybrid published and quickly published. But one thing I want to say to you, because, you know, frankly, I'm pitching publishers and agents, and they're always asking about your influence, right? Well, what do you think publicity equals? Influence. And the power of that influence. Plus, I think it is so powerful to have one of your, whether you call them patients, clients, right, leave with something from you. And, you know, books can be as simple as a small book. So I just want you to expand what's possible for you, and to know that, you know, don't make this as, shall we say, hard as it needs to be. And to know that, frankly, I'm getting people book deals without a word written, you know, and that's pretty awesome. And, you know, sometimes they're looking for topics. Like, I just remember 2 years ago, I was promoting a woman who, she's a specialist in opioid addiction, right? Why? Because she's been through it, because it was her story, because she knew how to help others based on her own addictions. And that was a powerful story. So I ended up having a wonderful recovery press take her story because of, well, because it was, guess what? A hot PR topic. Like you say, Camille, hot topic, absolutely. And because it was so featured in the media. Now, this is a woman, you've never heard of her. She's not famous per se, but she had the right story in the right moment with the right timing. Keep thinking about, what are you offering that's right timing for now? And from a media perspective, zoom into what's most important for right now. Not what do you do, but from a media perspective, based on what you do, we might want to pluck one or two things that have the most impact for right now. And then from my book publishing perspective, and feel free to reach out to me and we can always talk more. And Camille, I don't know if at the end we're going to put all the fun stuff about how to reach me, but certainly we can put that in now if you'd like, whatever works.
We can put it in the
You tell
chat,
me how
but
we should do that. But
I'll be sending a follow-up email to everybody afterwards. So everybody
beautiful.
here and everybody who might have things come up. So some of the people I know who are registered are not here. So we want everybody to get your contact information, and I know you have an offer, so we will definitely be sending it in a follow-up email.
Great, great. And then we'll put that in the chat today too. So, but if you do have any questions and you want, maybe somebody can write in jilllublin.com/schedule. And particularly on the books is what I'd ask you to talk to me about that. But that's something really precious for you to start thinking about, is getting your name out there and creating ways of increasing your visibility, which of course the book does. And so does actually, wonderfully, even an article. So that's something I want you all to think about too. And to actually get written is a 500-word article, not very long. And for those of you who are more verbal, like I am, talk it out and then get it transcribed. That's a nice, easy way to get an article done quickly. Thanks, Camille.
Yeah, well, we want people to know how to connect with you and follow up with you. I mean, I love that you're sharing all these ideas, but I know that sometimes taking good ideas from a Zoominar, some things are easy to self-apply, but every once in a while you want custom ideas, custom, more personalized support. So I think that's really wonderful. Now, I heard you mention an ooh-ah factor, but I'm not sure I heard the specifics about that. Can you? I mean,
Absolutely.
I could make it up, but I'm sure you have a more clear definition of what it means, especially in terms of publicity and maybe media attention or expansion.
Yes, and I love the ooh, ah factor. And you notice it was one of my main points. By the way, I was hoping you were taking notes on those main points because that's where I laid down literally thousands of dollars of PR advice. And I want you to do the same. I want you to give people real, oh, thank you, Camille. I want you to give people real value and benefit, right? All the time as you're giving your message. So in the ooh, ah factor, which was part of my message, by the way, what I want you to think about is what is it that makes other people go ooh and ah about you? It may be your personal story. It may be, I like to call it, use everything you've got. It may be your ethnicity, your religion, right? It may be using being a woman for International Women's Day, which comes out next March. So how can you be using all parts of who you are? That's the use everything you've got part, plus the part about you that's ooh and ah. Could be your recovery. And why are you doing what you do right now? What is it that touches your heart and soul to serve others in the way that you are? That might be part of your ooh ah story, right? So think about that and use everything you've got. So I remember a gentleman in my virtual publicity course, he's from Pakistan. Even though he lives in LA, right? He's Pakistani. And so we were going deep on this and I saw this, I call it the head bang in the Zoom room, right? And he said, oh my gosh, Jill, I have never thought to use this. He Googled right then and he found that there were 5 Pakistani newsletters in the LA area. He got in 3 of them using this particular strategy. And then you know what that did is that built his email list. And do you know that he now has, he added 25,000 more people because of these 3 newsletters specifically aimed and oriented toward that audience. And by the way, you know, he is in the health field. He is a coach. And what's interesting is they're not all going to become his clients. You know, that doesn't matter. You know that. I mean, it matters obviously that people are becoming your clients. What matters though is that we're increasing your tribe, expanding your circle, right? Increasing your tribe and expand your circle. That's what publicity does. That's the power of it. And you know what else it does is get you more trust in the marketplace, more familiarity. And I always want your message to be authentic to you. That's why I love the ooh, ah factor, because what that does is it gets you talking about your story. And I often know that healers, coaches, consultants in the area of holistic in particular tend to often have an interesting story. And so let's just see if your story is workable, so to speak, into your message. And it may or may not be, but certainly if it is, you want that in there. Promise you that.
You know, you mentioned 2 things right there that really just, so 2 notes, guys, in case you missed them, use everything you've got. I hardly ever send a press release to my alma mater. You know, like I have a college degree and they have an alumni publication. And so what are the contacts that I have, the other tribes and groups that I belong to, where I could be, like if I'm writing a press release, I should be sending it everywhere that potentially it's going to be interesting and more importantly, potentially picked up and get an actual placement. And then the other thing is that visibility, especially in like magazines and on some bigger blogs and websites, and of course, television, is a credibility booster. So that if people
Big
have
time.
never, you know, like people who are doing this for the first time, they go, oh, maybe that would work for me.
Well, you know, here's the thing, and it's so powerful, what you just said, because this is exactly the power of publicity. And in fact, I have actually a very specific strategy that goes out every 60 days to places like university, all the places you are members of, your private Facebook groups. And let me share with you, funny you brought that up, Camille, around, and it's not exactly a press release, it's a different tactic exactly, but it's free every 60 days. And it's basically writing an announcement. And the thing about that, so for instance, when Get Notice, Get Referrals came out, that was my third book on McGraw-Hill, and I sent out an announcement, just what you're talking about, to Wayne State University out of Detroit, where I'm from. And I got a gentleman who actually went and got the book. He read my bio in the back. He goes, "Hey, Joy, I see you do publicity consulting." Now the book's about referrals, right? How to get more referrals. He goes, "You know, we need some help in our company." That led to a VIP consulting day. So this is why I'm so strong about books and articles, because what they do is they generate more visibility building to you. And that as people keep seeing your name again and again, it creates that "I've heard of you somewhere" syndrome. So one of my women in the publicity course recently, she is a dentist turned pain relief specialist. She does it from a much more alternative, almost shamanistic approach for pain relief. And because she's a dentist, she obviously has that credibility, which is nice. She followed that particular system, got into her university where she graduated. Do you know that she got 9 prospects from that? Three of which was 30%, that's a darn good percentage, turned into real clients. You know, so I just, it is so important that you stay out there, keep your name out there, stay consistent with it. This could be like an hour a week. This doesn't have to be, you know, life consuming. I know that you're doing your practices and doing what it is you do out in the world, right? It's a yes and. You definitely put an hour a week in your schedule for public relations / marketing purposes. You'll find a lot of, well, basically far more things happening because you're keeping yourself out there and the focus is on that expansion, which is powerful.
That is so great. Okay, guys, we have about 10 minutes left. So does anybody have any questions so far? Either something you could put in the chat, or you can raise your hand if you know how to do that. Click on participants, and then you'll see a button that allows you to raise your hand. And while we're waiting to see what we have in the area of questions, Jill, do you have any other tips, any resources that we might be able to use as takeaways today? And also, you did promise us an offer, so what's that about?
Oh, thank you. So first of all, I want you to go to helpareporterout.com. It's completely free. And what I love about this service is that it actually puts out reporters who are interested in you, and then you respond to them. So I have a communication specialist right now. She's been getting piece after piece of fabulous quotes in all kinds of places by responding to things that Help a Reporter Out is interested in. And then once you get that article written, there's a wonderful free place to post it called ezinearticles.com. Great resource, great place to post your articles. And if you're writing newsletters and need some extra content, you can pull something off of there. So all kinds of free articles, great place to look for yours as well as to post. And those are some really good takeaway resources. Now also, I have a virtual publicity course, and Camille told me to tell you about this. This is a no nonsense, get it done. We're going to roll up our sleeves, and in one virtual day, do the publicity that you probably sometimes go around in circles about. I'm just going to help make it clear. And most importantly, we're going to get 3 documents done that day. They won't be perfect, but they'll be done. And that's what's key. Plus, I'm going to give you templates that you can use for any project you're working on. All right. So this is a really no nonsense, get it done 1-day course. You can go to publicitycrashcourse.com. Maybe you can post this in the chat.
Yep.
Put in the code stay visible. And the code is stay visible, all lowercase and case sensitive. Now, here's the thing, my friends, because it's, you know, my commitment to you as a messenger of messengers is to get your message out. I have pandemically priced this course, no kidding. It's never been this low. So now it's $197, and it used to be over $1,000. So imagine this in 1 day, getting your publicity done, 3 documents with 4 templates you can use all the time. And it's a lot of fun. We do breakout rooms. It's very interactive. And most importantly, it gets your publicity done the right way, starting with the message. So we're going to make sure your message is clear. And we're going to move into the other documents that the press needs to say yes to you. And I'm going to take all the mystery out of it and spill all the secrets that nobody will usually tell you. So it's only $197 right now. And you go to publicitycrashcourse.com, put in the code stay visible, all lowercase. I welcome the opportunity to serve you in that way.
I think that is super great. And frankly, the idea of 3 articles, especially if I take those 3 articles and put them into your 60-day announcement time frame, right? That kind of takes me through half the year in terms of creating a pipeline, right? And frankly, one of the things I've finally realized, having run the HCC for 10 years, is most of us are not interested in the I have to go back and get a day job. Most of us really are in the I'm in business, that's the game I'm playing. And instead of just working day to day, what do I do now? What do I do today? It's how do I set myself up so that no matter what's going on in the world around me, not that there have been any surprises this year, right? But no matter what's going on in the world around me, I've got a pipeline that's going to create some steady flow in terms of customers, clients, patients, and also, you know, cash flow. Not that that's important or anything, but yeah, maybe. It lets us spend the time we have available doing what we want to be doing, right? That's one reason why I say, in terms of holistic, mind, body, spirit, business, budget, planet, right? All of those elements are connected. That's why we feature, you know, publicity experts like you to help us. So I think of our business support professionals as healers as well. It's just that you're helping heal our businesses, whereas our healing professionals,
absolutely.
you know, so it sounds like you have worked with a lot of healing professionals and also some business people. I know in the business world, we talk a lot about return on investment, ROI. We really haven't talked about that much on this call, but since we are talking about making, for example, an investment in the Publicity Crash Course, and I think one of the things I've learned about being in business is I'm investing in things all the time. So tell us, when I say ROI to you, what does that mean? How do you, how do we make that happen?
Yeah.
When we invest in all of these things that are meant to make us bigger and better, so to speak.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, let's look at that pain relief specialist. You know, shamanic healer is really what she is. Since I'm among friends, I can tell you what she really does. You know, so let me just tell you, by investing in the publicity course, which by the way, she paid much more. What's amazing is those 9 prospects I told you turned into 3 clients. And by the way, you know, my guess is the other 6 will in their time turn into more. That's a 30% ROI, right? By a free
Yeah.
announcement, which by the way, she learned to do in the course. And also I'm big on systems. So I have a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day system in Publicity that you can follow to consistently and persistently be out there. That creates ROI. That's called recognition. That's called prospects. That's called customers, right? And that's called a pipeline that stays full and brings you more. So for instance, one person, another alternative healer, got 1 article into the Chinese Times. Remember I said, use everything you got? He's Chinese. Now he doesn't speak a word of Chinese. So you're gonna laugh at this. What we did was we translated his articles into Chinese, put it into the Chinese Times, excuse me, put it into the Chinese Times, and 1 article, he received $7,000 in business. We tracked it, $7,000 in business. So when I talk ROI, I look at the clients that come to you. When I say the shamanic practitioner now is a 30% return rate, he got $7,000 worth of business in 1 article. I track statistics like on websites, right? So a financial wellness consultant got put into 1 blog. Now there was more, but I'm just giving you 1. And his web stats went up by 37%. He was just growing his business, but he was smart enough to realize that publicity would bring in that business. And then there's that credibility factor, because people will show up to you, you'll get that call, because you know what they'll say? You know, so-and-so said something about you and they referred you. Well, that's because your name is being spread. Or they'll say, this is my favorite, I've heard of you somewhere, right? And that's what I want for you. I literally call it the I've heard of you somewhere syndrome, because people will keep seeing your name, whether it's in the local paper, blogs, podcasts, news, media, magazines, right? They will keep seeing you. That creates that I've heard of you somewhere syndrome. Very powerful, and it drives business. That's the consistency and persistency part. That's really key to business success.
I think they take you more seriously, you know, oh, I've heard your name. Like, you must be somebody. I've heard your name. But I mean, frankly, the benefit of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce, right? We've been around for 10 years now. So more and more, oh, I've heard of that. I've been meaning to check it out. Or, you know, people go to Google and look us up. They look you up because they've seen you or heard about you somewhere else. And I think one of the points you make, like, you collect all these connections, especially in the world of social media and email marketing, right? We're connecting connections all the time. It's not like everybody is going to buy from you. It's that the more connections you have, the more people can buy from you. They know how to find you. They're aware. They are somewhat educated, and they have access. They have those reminders, right? Drugstores, we'll just use, so your competition, by the way, is not each other. Your competition is drugstores. They advertise. Well, you know, kind of pricey to advertise in a lot of places, but publicity done right doesn't cost much at all. A little bit of time, maybe some expert help to help really make it pay off. Anyways, Jill, before we
And to get it done the right way. But can I just say one other thing? Because
Yeah.
I'm very spiritually based, and you know, I'm very spiritually based and have had a life of commitment to transformation and spiritual work, and I bring that to everything I do. And let me just tell you, your gift in the world as a messenger, it's really important that other people know who you are, that they understand what you do. There's really sort of like almost like an underground network, I'll call it a web, that weaves together as your message goes out, because what you've done is you've told the world, I matter. My message matters, that your message is important and that others need to know of it. And you're taking a stand for you. And to me, I know the power of that because I've been working in media for over 25 years, but I also know the power energetically and spiritually and in your own transformation of taking a stand for you and your importance and your messaging mattering. So that's what I really want to say too, is that your message matters.
That is great. All right, we are going to close. You will all get the recording, and all of these links will be sent out this afternoon. I will reach out to, yes, we will be sending the contact info. Grace, thanks for asking. So look for an email this afternoon. Thank you all for being here. We'll be doing another Zoominar next month. We hope to see you again. Be blessed, and remember, keep getting the word out. This world, like, healing it's time for healing, right? On every level right now, people are ready, they're looking, they're hungry. So thank you all. Have a blessed week. Click below to subscribe now.